So let's dive into rediscovering your passions and interests. You may think, I don't have any passions anymore. And I totally understand where you're coming from because I felt the same way. But this too is a transformational step, and it takes a lot of introspection and time. Again, something that nobody can do for you. We can throw out ideas and this and that, but you're the one that's going to have to make the time and really think about what is really in your heart of things that you like to do, because you're going to get out of it what you put in. So what I encourage people to do is to schedule some dedicated time each week for exploring these interests. And then once you've explored them, obviously time to do them, right? Even if it's just a little bit, maybe you're super busy, you're busy working, you're busy doing other things. You have to make time for yourself or everything else falls by the wayside. You're not going to be be the best employee. You're not going to be the best spouse or friend when you're burned out, right? And certainly not a mom. So I would encourage you to identify one past passion that was something you were super passionate about years ago, or maybe just 5 years ago, or maybe just last year, and set a specific goal to reintegrate that into your life. I actually worked with a mom who used to be a dancer as a child, and we were going through this type of exercise, and she came back to her mind. She's like, I used to love to dance. And I said, well, then why don't you take a dance class? And at first she was like, well, oh my gosh, like I'm too old for that. I'm like, no, you're not. You're never too old for that. So sure enough, she did. And it has become a huge part of her life again. And she's finding joy because she's doing something that she loves. So I encourage you to also figure out what that one thing is. And when you do figure that out, you may say, I don't have anyone to do that with me. My friends, people I hang out with now are not interested in that. Well, then you find a community of people who are supportive and who share that similar interest, right? Whether it's taking a class to learn something new, or it's joining like that dance class where all those people have that same interest. You may not know them, but they're quickly going to become some of your friends, right? So I want you to think about what activities brought you fulfillment and, before the challenge of estrangement, what brought you fulfillment? For me, I used to work out a lot. I used to have an event on the calendar because it kept me in training mode, right? So that was years back. And then I fell into addiction. I fell into unhealthy eating patterns. I had gained a lot of weight. And so none of that was even on the docket. Like that was not even something I was even remotely considering. But had I considered that versus what I did, my life would have been completely different. So now, several years later, obviously, my husband and I actually trained for the Rim to Rim to the Grand Canyon. Trained for 5 months, and it was fantastic. I actually ended up having an injury right before, so I couldn't hike, unfortunately, this past October. But he did it with our group, and it was a beautiful time. And we are going to go next year. But I knew right away. I said to him, and I'm saying to you, that when you have that goal on the calendar, whatever it is, when it's approaching quickly, you need to get the next one on the calendar, because when we accomplish a goal that we have as an individual, it's so rewarding, but that high, that reward kind of wears off pretty quickly. And then you almost feel like a failure because you're not out there doing the training for something. And it doesn't have to be physical all the time, right? But I'm just saying that as an example, that's something that was super passionate for me. And it's just been really rewarding getting back at that. So identify those interests that you enjoyed even before becoming a parent, right? Maybe some of those things were set aside in your life.